So let's draw a playing card template in Adobe Illustrator. We'll learn a few basic tools and functions here. Let's start with the basic rectangle, right? Most playing cards are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So I'm going to hit the M key on the keyboard and I'm going to click once. Right, and I'm going to set it up with 2.5 inches wide, 3.5 inches high. Click OK, and there's my basic rectangle. Right, move it in place here. So one of the cool things you can do very quickly in Illustrator is take a shape and offset its path so you can make a second version, either kind of echoing the original outside or inside its border. So I want to create a border on the inside of this card. So I'm going to come over here to the Properties panel and choose Offset Path. See that? I'm going to click that button, and I'm going to put 1/4 inch, 0.25 inches, but I'm going to put a negative sign in front of it so it'll offset to the inside instead of outside. See, if I don't have the negative sign, it's going to go outside rather than in. All right, so I've got to make sure I've got that negative sign in there. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to set that to miter just to simplify things for now. Okay, so there you have it. So I'm going to grab the corner widgets for this interior rectangle. I'm going to drag that to 0.15 inches. And while I'm at it, I'm going to click on the larger rectangle and round those corners to 0.25 inches, like that. Okay, so now I've got my basic border for my playing card. So I'm going to move my letter, in this case K for king, and my suit into this area and put it in the upper left corner here. Something like that. Oh, I've got to move it above the rectangles I just drew. So Command, Shift, and the right bracket key will move it up all the way to the front in the layer order. Okay, so I want to have this interior border kind of sweep around the letter and suit. So I'm going to draw another rectangle, M is the shortcut, around that letter and suit. And so, just make sure that I've got a large enough rectangle there to give myself a comfortable border. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is subtract that smaller rectangle from this border rectangle, right? I've got them both selected, shift click them. Now over here again in the Properties panel, you've got these pathfinder options, and the one that we need is the minus front, the second one here. It'll take the top object and subtract it from the object beneath it in the layer order. See what happened? It subtracted it. So now I'm going to get the direct select tool and I'm going to round off these individual corners, right? So if I click on a single anchor point with the direct select tool, I can then grab that widget and round it. And again, I'm going to make that 0.15 inches. And let's say I'm going to do this one too. I'm going to click on that anchor point, grab its corner widget, and round it to 0.15, like that. I'm going to leave that one sharp just because. Okay, I think it looks cool. All right, so now let's take this shape, and I want to echo this in the lower right corner, right? Most cards have the the number and suit in the upper left, and lower right corners, kind of inverted, right? So I need to do the same thing with this border. So what I'm going to do is come over here to my properties panel with that object selected, and there's a rotate symbol right there in the transform options, and I'm going to drop that list down and choose 180 degrees. So it rotates it, basically flipping it around. Okay. And so, you know what I forgot though? I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that. I need two of these. So I'm going to hit Command C to copy that object first, and then Command F to paste it right in front. Remember, if you hit Command V, it'll paste it over to the side, and I don't want to do that. But I did hit Command C, Command F, and so you see I've got a copy of it. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that move. Okay, now I'm going to rotate this, like I mentioned before, over here in the transform options for the properties. There's that rotate symbol. Drop that list down, 180 degrees. Okay, so now I've got the second one rotated. Okay, so I need to select both of these now. I'm going to click on one, shift click the other. This time I'm going to go to the Pathfinder panel, and I'm going to choose this guy right here, the intersect option, and that's going to only keep the areas that are overlapping, and anything that's not overlapping will be removed. So the end effect is that I've now got a border that echoes in the upper left and lower right. Okay, so last thing I need to do is take my suit and rotate it around 180 degrees again. So in order to do that right in the center, I'm going to need to figure out exactly where the center of my card is. And to do that, I'm going to select my original rectangle. And simple shapes where it's easy to find the center, like that original rectangle, Illustrator is going to show you the exact center of that object. And with it selected, with the good old-fashioned selection tool, I'm going to come up to my ruler, click on the ruler, and drag a guide right to that spot. And same thing with the ruler on the left, grab and drag a guide in right to the center there. Okay, so now I can click on my letter and suit, hit the R key to get the rotate tool, go to the intersection of my two guides that I just drew, and click. Now it's going to rotate from that center point. So I can just basically click and drag and rotate that around. If I hold the Shift key down, it'll stop at 180 degrees. Right? Oh, I did it again. I forgot to duplicate the object. So I'm just going to rotate this again, right? So, but this time I'm going to hit Command C, Command F, right? Copy, paste in front, and let's rotate this again up here. If I hold Shift again, it'll stop at 180. Get the idea? There you go. Playing card template. Have fun.